every day going to work because of all the stress and pressures on this. Like you don't get chances on this. Like at my age, you don't get a flop and get to do it again. Like I'm not just out of film school doing movies. Like this has to be good. Everybody has to get their money back and every scene has to be spot on and the editing has to work and all that. Like I would have a I heard somebody say some director once the hardest part of the job every day is getting out of the car on your way to work. And it's true, man. And be parked there, getting ready to jump out, and like, oh, the panic attack setting in. Okay, now I got to pretend to be this director, and everybody's leaning on me, and I got to pretend I know what the hell I'm talking about and all that because we're all pretending, right?
He is, of course, a legend of the fight game, but now he's making his way in the filmmaking industry. He just had his first full length writing and directing for a new film coming out soon. I can't wait to talk to him about everything because we go back a long ways for his fight career, and now he's a filmmaker. It is my great pleasure to welcome in the Dean of Mean, Keith Jardine. Keith, how are you?
Hey, brother, I'm great, man. Thanks for that introduction, man. I'm great.
So let me start here because I mentioned, of course, we've known each other for many years. Go back to your fight career in the UFC.
Okay.
I looked at your Instagram page. Now, obviously, we all know you so well as a fighter in the fight world, but I loved it on your Instagram page. Now, your bio reads writer, director, actor, filmmaker, and fighter. I love that you have now kind of taken over this new role where like you have all these other things you've been doing besides fighting.
Thanks, brother. Yeah, I've had to reinvent myself a bunch of times, and thank goodness I'm a way better actor and filmmaker than I ever was a fighter.
When you,
But
I remember, I think the first time I ever reached out to you, and I reached out to Tate too, was back in like 2010 when I watched an episode of Breaking Bad, and I was like,
oh
"Hey,
yeah,
I know those guys." A lot of people don't know there is actually a very thriving film community in New Mexico. Like they film a lot of stuff down there. So could you have imagined when you start out with something like that to where you're at now, where you've actually written and directed your own feature film? Like, is it wild to think what this ride you've been on has been in the film industry?
yeah, it's been pretty crazy. I'll tell you how it started. It is because New Mexico, because of the film industry here. Right after when I fought, well, a lot of people say my biggest fight when I fought Chuck. That was on a Saturday, and I came here to see my doctor on a Monday because I was, like I was in a car accident, and uh, and I went to a small town in New Mexico, Bernalillo, and I was in a little cafe there, and Brian Taylor and Mark Devildean were scouting for locations there, and they came up to me all super shy and like, "Hey, we're doing this movie. Do you think you would be interested in reading for a role in it?" And I go, "Oh, hell yeah, man! I've always wanted to do that." And it turned out I didn't know who they were. Turned out that they were the writer directors of the Crank franchise, and they were doing Gamer with Jerry Butler here in Albuquerque, and that's how I got my card. And that's how I got started. And even before I started fighting, I always wanted to be an actor, but I just didn't know what that meant. I didn't know how to get in there. I didn't know how to do any of that. But fighting led to that, and that was one of the greatest gifts.
And I know that like a lot of people don't know, like when you're acting, like there is such a skill involved in that. I had talked to Maurice Green, who I know you know because he was in your movie. He got this role in this new movie coming out this year with the one that Jordan Peele produced. And I asked him, and he's like it's so hard. He's like people don't understand how hard acting is. You have to really dedicate yourself and really focus on that craft. So how was it for you, like transitioning? Because like action, I know a lot of guys do stunts. Like I've talked to Frank Trigg, some other guys who've done stunts, but actually acting, like doing the speaking roles, that's a whole other animal.
Yeah, acting. Yeah. Well, for me, it was like first. I think at first I was pretty okay because I didn't know any better, and I was just playing, and then I started taking it seriously, and I started trying, and then I got a lot worse and a lot more contrived, and then I had to really study. I had to really learn the craft, and man, I put thousands of hours in working on it, and then roles started coming on. Like I had a Paul Thomas Anderson role, which is the Kira Kurosawa of America. He's a director's director, and that kind of got it started with me. But yeah, I did stunts at the beginning too, and that paid the bills. At the beginning, when I first got out of the UFC, like I spent all my money going to LA and doing auditions. Like back then we do auditions in person, and my agent said, you should really be here for this one. And okay, I get on the plane and fly to LA, and it would pan out maybe a 1 out of 10 times or whatever. And, like I was really getting to the bottom there. We didn't make a lot of fighting back then. And then a stunt role came along, John Wick. Um, and another one came on. Anyway, a couple of roles came on. I made some good money with that, and that kind of helped to bridge while I was working on my acting craft until those roles started coming along.
Can I ask? I don't want to
You
get
talked about Maurice though, man. He's amazing. You know what? Like he is a natural actor. He's got one line in my movie. It's my favorite line. But like whatever I do, he's gonna be in it, man. And like that guy, he's just charismatic. Everybody wants to be around him, but he looks good on screen, camera, and he has that it thing. And I think I think it takes a while in this game for people to know you and rely on you, but I really think he has a future.
Yeah, I mean, I can't wait to see that movie coming out later this year. That's what we actually just talked right after that trailer came out. I reached out to him and I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is so cool! You're doing that." Not to get too far off the subject, Keith, but you talked about like going out to LA for auditions and spending all your money. We think of you as like this legend from the UFC, and you said like guys then were not making that much money. So when you started making this movie, I mean, is it scary because you're putting a lot of yourself into it, and financially, like we think about when you ended your career, like, oh man, Keith Jardine fought everybody, he's a legend, he wins over Chuck Liddell, this guy and that guy, but it's not like you were financially secure enough to just not work anymore. So you obviously had to make a transition in this new career.
Yeah, I mean that's a thing too, and the trick with the fight game, like if you want to talk about this, is first of all is breaking up to you show up, you get a certain amount, and then you get double that if you win. You never think about losing. You never think about, oh, I'm only going to get paid this much for this fight. You always think about the big amount. And so you get in that cycle depending on like you don't get a monthly check. You just whenever something happens, you get paid. And so whatever's in your bank account is just numbers. It's not real, and it goes up, it goes down. And acting's the same way. And yeah, you're talking about transitioning the movie making. That was a that was another complete reinvention. And thank God I did because of where the movie industry is right now. If you're not a creator, then heck, man, I wouldn't want to be there waiting for the phone to ring because there's not as many productions as there used to be. Um, but yeah, what happened with me is like 5 years ago. Um, no, more than that. Shoot, I don't think about time that much, but I pretty much playing the same character all the time, like these little roles. And I tell my agent, can you just send the audition for the last thing in playing this racist heavy hitman kind of guy, whatever. Like I've done that so many times. I'll do it again, whatever, as long as it's interesting. But so then I decided, well, if I want to do something interesting, I'm going to have to create it myself. I had no experience in writing. I'm not a great writer, but I know dialogue. I studied the hell out of acting. I know dialogue. I have good coaches too, and I can write dialogue. I can write interesting dialogue. In fact, when anybody reads my scripts, that's always the biggest mark is the characters and the dialogue. Even the movie that you watch, it you can tell it's all drop dialogue driven. You know. Um, uh, so I started that. My first script was awful. My second script um, was a Western, and I wrote it really big, really expensive, but I actually got a lot of interest in it. Like I got A-list actor wanted to do it and that kind of stuff. But I gave my part away because I needed to do that to get it made. That was pre-COVID and all that, and I didn't know how to package movies back then. Like again, man, I'll go all kinds of tangents. If you want to do this business, like you got to know every aspect. You got to know how to produce. You know how to write. You know how to direct. If you don't know all these things, then you're just a slave to the system, And if you can't make it happen yourself, like pray to God it'll happen, but it might not. Um, so what I did is I went back and I wrote a short film that I know that I can make, and that I'd keep my role in it. And as El Paso 1155 it's out there. It's out there. You can watch it. I won a lot of best acting and best directing awards for that. and I was a four-time Academy qualifier in festivals. So I did really well with that short, and then it's kind of a neo-noir crime thing. And then because of that, I was able uh do the movie that you watched, Kill Me Again. Um, so yeah, so but you talking about reinventing yourself is like all my COVID was, I hate to say this, but it was kind of a blessing to me because I would just spend 8, 10 hours a day writing, learning how to write, get better, get better, get better. All the skills I learned through fighting, um, train hard every day, train hard. I trained too much. I killed myself with training, but if I want to be a good actor, I'm going to have to train at acting, and I did that. And if I want to be a good writer, movie maker, I have to train at that. So I just spend my hours every day. In the Groundhog's Day of COVID, those years, I just got a few more scripts out, and I got this one out, and we shot it. Sure. Actually, we shot that right after the. No, I shot my short right after COVID, and I shot this Kill Me Again right after the actors strike, which was another blessing because then I just work all day, you know. I'm sorry, I'm rambling on you there.
No, no, no. Well, let me ask you this because, as you can clearly tell by my backdrop, I'm a big horror fan. And Kill Me Again. I when I first saw the trailer, my reaction was, "This sounds like Groundhog's Day from hell." And then I watched the movie, and it's a lot of fun. I know Brandon Fair a little bit, of course, from
You
the
do?
from Final Destination. We actually
Yeah.
we did I do a horror movie podcast, and we actually had the original creator Jeffrey Reddick on, so we were talking about all the Final Destination movies.
You got to
And
get
when I
Brendan
saw
on.
yeah, when I saw he was in your movie, I was like, "Hey, I know that guy."
Dude,
But can I ask for your inspiration? Where did that come from? Because like it's a really fun idea, and we've seen like time loop movies, things like this before. But like, I love the unique of actually like the perspective of coming from a serial killer. I don't want to ruin the movie for people, but like, I thought that was such a unique perspective for a movie like this.
thank you. Well, to run it back, I got another script. This in the MMA world, kind of. It's more of a taxi driver script that some people want to do, and I do have somebody really good attached to that. But then the production company's like, okay, who's writing and directing it? Because it's clearly not going to be me because I can't do something that big, right? So then I think it was like August, like a couple years ago in August. I'm like, well, what can I do that's more contained and more low budget? And I'm shooting ideas around, and I'm thinking about the Groundhog's Day. I love that. I love that aspect. And okay, well, I'm gonna start writing this, and I wrote the beginning and the end, and it just flew off. Like the fastest, man, that movie happened so fast. I started in August, and we shot it in December, and I just like it's weird. I just set a date, man. We're doing this in December, and the script's not even finished yet, and it just things fall together, and that's why I did my short too. And I just think that's the way things work for me. Like there's so many people have a script in their back pocket and they're waiting years to make it, and I was like, no, and I was just like, somehow the world's going to line up and this is going to happen in December. And I'm telling everybody, I'm hiring people, I'm whatever. We're shooting this in December, and it just worked out. I didn't have my funding until shoot the week before movie. I'm like, God damn, like I got these people doing all this work, man. Well, I can't show up and say, hey guys, we're not doing it. Like the most stressful thing I've ever done. But so that was the idea is just something I do contained. And I'm the worst writer as far as like really good professional writers. I am a professional writer. I'm a good writer, but really, really good ones, a lot better than me. They chart out their whole thing. They outline it, and they know what everything is before they even start writing. I just start on page one, and I just write what I want to see from the character's perspective, and that's the worst way because you end up retracting a lot and starting over a lot, and sometimes it takes like I got scripts I've been working on for years just because of that. Um, yeah, yeah, but that one just came together right, man. I wrote the beginning and the end. I knew I had something. This is genius. This is smart. I can't believe it's one of those things. I can't believe this hasn't been done, right? Like it's so obvious. Um, it should have been done, but it hasn't. And I did it. And I approached Brendan right away, Brendan Fair. This is a breakout role for him. And people that seen him before, like he's never been this. And by God, he went full. I don't want to say Heath Ledger. He went full. Like he went for months before we shot. Man, he just dove into this character and kind of went. I hate to say method, it's such cliche, but he really kind of he went for it, man, and it paid off, man, and it's going to pay off for him. It's going to pay off for me, and people are going to see that, like, wow, who is this guy? Because it's really amazing, and he's amazing. Like he's in every freaking scene, man, and we shot it where we're shooting 10 to 12 pages a day, man. And he's in there doing it all, man. And he's the best actor I've ever been around.
Yeah, he's. I mean, he's incredible in the movie, and as you said, kind of a breakout role. I mean, he's done
Generous.
things, but yeah,
Generous.
so good. And you also have one of my other favorite guys that you have in this movie is Raul Max Trujillo, who I knew very
Oh
well
yeah.
from Mayans. I saw him in Mayans. He was just in the recent season of Dark Winds, which I know you also appeared in. I love that show. Dark Winds is an incredible show. You
Apocalypto.
also got to
That was a stunt role, by the way.
but you also got to work with some of your friends. I know Michelle Watterson has a role in here, and I know that
She's amazing, isn't she?
yeah, she's incredible. But I just loved it. Like I know, like when I mentioned when I started your journey, when you started your journey, I always connect you and Tate together because you guys are such good friends and you guys have shown up in a lot of things. I just saw him in a trailer for the new season of Gen V coming out on Amazon.
Yep.
And I actually, when I talked to Tate right after the Breaking Bad series finale, I had him on my show and we talked about him being in that final episode and everything. But is it cool to see like other people from your world kind of branching out and doing this? I think Donald Cerrone, Michelle Watterson now, like it's cool to
You know,
see.
Cowboy was in it. Did you recognize
Yeah,
him?
yeah. Cowboy was in it as well.
Yeah. Um, I respect it so much. I love Bisbing's doing a great job. I like seeing what he's doing. I like seeing people that put the work in because I hate entitlement. People are like, oh, I was big at UFC and oh, I was a big WWE guy, or whatever. Now I can be this amazing actor because people like me. No, it's a different thing, man. It's a different craft, and it deserves time and dedication, and it deserves that respect. Um, and these guys all do that. Maurice does, and Michelle, she's super charismatic and super wow. It's like, how do these people? I'm just so grateful, man. Like Michelle, like some of those lines in there that in the movie, it's all ad lib. She's just riffing with Juliet on there, and I'm like, let's put the camera on there. Let's catch that. Like that wasn't written, and that's beautiful. It made it all work. Um, so I was just so fortunate in that respect. And you're right about that. Is like Tate there and everything. Like it's a family you develop. We're doing night shoots in a really horrific shoot. Like this is really like the first AD. I've never seen anybody do 10 or 12 pages a day. So good luck. And he gave me the schedule, and it's like, well, thank you. That's it, right? Okay. So I had to figure out how to make this work. So I did a lot of block shooting. If you want to talk, well, block shooting's even harder for actors, but then so it's really grueling, and every actor is there every night, even if they're not really in the scene because they're in the background, and there's no sleep. You don't sleep for 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, for the whole run, and like little things like Tate would come in at 1 a.m. and bring like a whole bunch of cheesecake for everybody, and everybody would just like just the mood would lighten up. Everybody would just party and hang around. When Cowboys showed up, it's like God, the energy there, like oh, it's my best friend, and we're all hanging out, and we're having fun, and we're also doing this movie. We're doing this thing that we always talk about, and it's really happening. Like it's just the energy was just so amazing there. At the same time, every day going to work because of all the stress and pressures on this. Like you don't get chances on this. Like at my age, you don't get a flop and get to do it again. Like I'm not just out of film school doing movies. Like this has to be good. Everybody has to get their money back, and every scene has to be spot on, and the editing has to work and all that. Like I would have a I heard somebody say, some director once, the hardest part of the job every day is getting out of the car on your way to work. And it's true, man. And be parked there, getting ready to jump out, and like, oh, the panic attack setting in. Okay, now I got to pretend to be this director, and everybody's leaning on me, and I got to pretend I know what the hell I'm talking about, and all that, because we're all pretending, right?
Yeah. Can I ask? I mentioned you've been a part of a lot of major productions. You were in Preacher, which is a show I absolutely loved. You have multiple episodes of that. You guys have mentioned, as you mentioned, John Wick. But how satisfying is it to do something like this that you wrote, that you created, that you directed? Which I know it's a labor of love because, as you mentioned, you're not working in a studio system where they're just handing you $50 million and saying go make your movie. This is it's as you mentioned, it's like an everyday struggle getting in there and shooting a ton of pages, and it's a grueling. But at the same time, you made it, you created it. Like there's got to be a certain level of satisfaction in that.
Huge, man. It happened with my short, and so like I accept that I'm a good writer, and people enjoy my stuff already. Because being in a theater, people laughing at your thing and watching actors say your words and being able to direct them too. Oh my God, being able to direct real like I know what it's like to be directed and be able to like, no, this you're not quite doing what we need. We need to do this and being able to do that. Like it's so fun, but it's so like it's a task. And to see it unfold and all that is like it's still hard to wrap around. Here's a way to say it. I did this movie and we're releasing it right now to some major cities, and we're gonna do TVOD at the same time. It'll be on Apple and Amazon at the same time. But like I care about that and I'm thankful for people to watch it, but I want to see it in theaters with people watching. I was on a Zoom the other day with the distributors, like I'll be sad if I only get to see this 5 times in theaters. Like I'm available to travel around and be there for Q&As and do all that because there's nothing better than being in a theater and watching people react to what you did. People laughing and shocked and all that stuff. It's equal, it's on par, or maybe even better than walking out of the ring for some of my biggest fights. Um, it's just because all the work, all the heart, all the love, every piece of you is in that. You write a script. When you first send somebody your script, when I first got used to it, like it's really scary, man, because no matter what it's about, it could be about anything. Even this one is about a serial killer and a time loop. But there's a lot of me in there. Like there's things that people won't even know that means a lot more to me than people would even know. Like things that I'm working through in my life and things like that. Like you're vulnerable when you give your pages away to somebody and and to know that that's okay and that that's good and people love it and react to it and the actors like it like that. That's just that means everything to me.
100%. Can I ask, like, it's crazy because you're lucky. We're all lucky if we find one thing we like to do in our lifetime. Like, so many people work in jobs they don't enjoy, and it's a job. They just go to work every day. But to find something you're passionate about, which for you early on is fighting, right? You were passionate about fighting. I remember when we first met. I used to call. I always tell this story when I talk to the old school Jacksons guys. I used to call the gym. Greg would get on the phone and he would call you guys into the office to do interviews with me. I talked to you and Rashad and Joey Villasenor. Like you were there and you were part of the foundation of what this sport has become. But then you leave the sport and now you've got this new passion where you're not only acting but you're now writing and directing. Like, is it wild to think like I said, we're lucky if we find one thing we love to do. You've now found two things that you love to do, and you're damn good at both.
Four
Four
things.
things.
I break it all up. Like yeah, I'm fortunate, man. Like I'm a dreamer, and there's some expression that I feel like I need to do. I did that with fighting, and it got me a certain way. We all fight, especially when we fought in those early days. Fighters now, like fighting's popular, and they fight because they want to be a superstar. But a lot of us fighters back then, like Chuck and me and Rampage and all these guys, Joey, and you talk about us, and we're just kind of trying to prove something to the world, right? Like, and what better way to prove that you're somebody than you're a fighter, right? And that's what that is. And it's like when you're in the ring fighting in front, you're literally naked in front of millions of people, just bearing your soul there. And there's just something in us that make us want to do that. And just to like be retired and done and like I don't see how you can get fulfillment doing that, like going to do a day job. I got a script about that too. Like, what do you do? Like, I'm 40 years old now. I don't have a skill. Um, like I spent all my life learning how to fight people. Like, would I know? I'd be a plumber. I didn't make enough money. And so I was fortunate enough. I've always loved movie. Movie was always an escape for me. And I got into acting and I never thought acting would be that good because I'm no, I don't know if you can cuss on this. I'm no Brad Pitt. Like what kind of rules how am I going to be an actor? And people, but now that started working out for some reason. I got some parts coming out that are crazy. I can't wait till you see them. So acting, um, finding what you love and acting was first, and then acting led to directing. I didn't know if I wanted to be a director when I did the short. It was kind of scary to me, and I still my passion was in acting. And then when I first directed and working with actors and seeing help bringing their thing to come to life, like that was such an amazing feeling, and I want to do that forever. And that was a thing. And then writing, the only way, my big satisfaction every day, just like in grappling, is like in fighting, is in fighting, you have a good practice and like, yeah, I'm good. That was it. That was, we had that amazing flow. I got into that zone and it was amazing. And I forgot about everything else in the world and just be in that zone every day and fighting, we get addicted to that. And the way I find that peace right now is every day. Like I have to be writing when I get into that zone of two characters talking to each other. Something really cool is happening. I don't even know what it is yet. And the characters are like I was writing this morning. These characters are telling me what the story's about. Like that, being in that zone, like I thrive on that. Um, but another thing about writing is just like fighting, man, it's suffering. Um, you get moments of peace and amazing, like this is good and I'm excited. I love this. But most of the time, like I suck and this is horrible and it's torture and it's suffering and all that. So, but you need that balance in your life, right? It can't just be all great, you know?
Yeah, it can. I assume, and I don't want to make want to make too many assumptions here. Just being a film fan and being being covering film and having gone to San Diego Comic Con and talked to filmmakers and things like that out there is like it can be a very lonely business when you're writing or directing. You're kind of you're on an island in a way when you're creating something. And fighting is the same thing. Like you have a team around you, but once you step in that octagon, it's just you. There's nobody else around you. And I imagine when you're writing and directing, like this is all on you. Like you said, all falls back on your shoulders.
Yeah. And he said that being on an island, there's these moments, say you're directing a thing, and there's a script that you kind of knew it was a problem you wrote in the script, and you kind of write something. You write these things that are just like fillers that'll like, okay, this will suffice, and it reads good, but now how do you make it work on the day? And then so like on Kill Me Again, there'd be these moments where that happen. Oh shoot, how are we going to transition this? And then somebody will ask you a question and like all of a sudden quiet and everybody's staring at you. And like, I don't know the answer. Like, like wow, ugh. So just make something up and goddamn hope it's the right answer because you're the leader here, right?
Yeah. Now
So
you
yeah.
mentioned you have a lot of things coming out. Of course, I want to keep mentioning "Kill Me Again," which, by the way, I know originally it was called Killer Cafe. Can I ask? Because I do love the title "Kill Me Again." I do love. When did that change? Because I gotta admit, I do love the title. When I remember when it first got sent to me, I was like, "Oh, that's catchy!" Like that immediately caught my attention. "Kill Me Again." Then I saw the trailer, and I was like, "Oh, that's a really cool concept." Then I watched the movie. I was like, "Now I get it. I love this concept." So where can I ask? Like, where did the title come from?
Um, well, the distributors wanted to change it. What do you like better, Kill Me Again or Killer Cafe?
Because of the Groundhog's Day of it all, I admit I like to Kill Me Again. It just caught my head. It's like Kill Me Again, and when I saw the trailer and I kind of got the concept, I was like, that's a cool title. I like that title.
Awesome. Well, it came in like a heated moment. Like my producer Darren White's been a savior to me. He's my partner. He'll always be my partner in this movie business. And he's an executive producer on this and he saved us so many times. And anyways, he called me and said, well, the distributors want to change the title um for a couple reasons. And then he gave me the suggestion. I hated the suggestion. And like I'm going off on like what a bad suggestion is, and I'm like, I don't know. What about I don't know, Kill Me Again, and it just came out like that. They're like, wait a minute, that's kind of good.
I
And
love it. It's fun. It's funny because you think about like I remember like the original screenplay for Scream was called Scary Movie, and now you can't even think about that. It's called Scream. Like everyone just thinks about Scream, and I love it. Kill Me Again. It works perfectly for this concept.
especially if and we could talk about this online about what the title really means. In this movie, there's a lot of Easter eggs, a lot of Easter eggs. In the title in itself is an Easter egg. But I don't want to talk about it right now.
Now, I don't want to pigeonhole you into any, because what you've done in your acting career, you've crossed a lot of genres. You've done action. You mentioned working with Paul Thomas Anderson, Inherent Vice, a brilliant movie. You've worked a lot of different genres, and I just said like I'm a huge horror thriller fan. Do you want to branch out, like do other, like can I imagine like, in writing and directing, like because you mentioned you have other scripts out there, like do you see yourself doing more drama, comedies? Like where do you want to be? Like me personally, like I know I could never write a comedy. I'm just not funny. I just don't want to try to be funny, so I could never do
Yeah.
that. But do you see yourself cross a lot of different genres? Because I love the thriller, I love the horror, but I'm sure you could do more than just that.
Yeah, I got two scripts on the pipeline right now. One is basically the taxi driver, and talking. I like to compare it to movies, and the other one's a neo noir thing that I just recently wrote that I'm really excited about. I like neo noir a lot, but everything I do has got that, and that's why like I'll push back about comedies because Kill Me Again's a funny movie. People laugh
It
at it, right?
is. It is.
But it's not supposed to be. But I just when I write, like if it makes me laugh, I know it's good. And if it's my sense of humor, I know it's good. So everything I have has that kind of humor in it. But yeah, I got a western. I got a slow burn drama. I got two neo noir shows. Yeah, I'm all over the place. I got a movie coming out called Over Your Dead Body that I'm a lead in with Jason Segel and Juliette Lewis and Samara Weaving. Um, that's going to be huge for me too, and it's a character you never seen me play before. Um, and I test screened really high on it, and I'm really excited about this. I'm working on I'm working as a I don't know how much I can say. I'm working on Terminal List right now. I got a really good part in the series Terminal List, and that's a whole thing I've never done before. So acting wise is breaking out, and writing wise, like movie wise, like yeah, I'm all over. I would love to write. I like to pick your brain on it, man. I'd love to have another high concept horror film. I've been trying to write one for a while, and I just can't get my footing on it.
I would be more than happy. I actually have a buddy of mine. I don't want to mention names because he's actually taking it to market right now. But he sent me he had done a TV show for NBC Peacock, and then he's doing another show. And he sent me the script. He's like, "Would you like to give me notes?" And I was like, "I'd be honored to give you notes." I was so like jazzed that he wanted me to give notes on his script. I was like, "This is amazing." Obviously,
Damn, I never noticed about you. I never knew you were into movies like this, man. I'm so pumped. I
I
wish you talked sooner.
I know I'm a huge movie guy, man. That's like my other passion. It's like fighting and movies. That's my two things.
Me too.
Yeah, exactly. And you mentioned the movie you did with Jason Segel and the Samara Weaving. I wanted to mention that to you because I am a huge Samara Weaving fan. And I remember when
Oh
that
yeah,
came out. Another one when I saw it come up on Deadline. I saw your name. I was like, hey, I know that guy.
yeah,
Every time I see it, I'm like, I know that guy. So as much as I love Samara Weaving and Jason Segel, I'm like, I know Keith Jardine. That's my guy
yeah,
right there.
yeah, yeah. That's gonna be great, man. It's a thriller comedy, and um, I don't know what I can say about it, but it's gonna come out at the end of the year, and it's going to come out theatrical and Jorma Taccone's it's a remake of I think a Norwegian movie, but it's freaking funny. It's like it's one of the best experiences I ever had on set as an actor. Is like every set when the director was laughing, you hit it.
I love it. I love it. Well,
Yeah.
Keith, man, keep up the great work. Everyone needs to check out Kill Me Again. It is a lot of fun. Like it is a really unique, interesting story, but it's also a lot of fun. Like I love movies that are challenging and fun to watch, but also like, again, it's an enjoyable watch. Like it's a breezy, easy watch and great performance. You mentioned Brandon Fair, like he was incredible. Brandon Fair was incredible. So I want everyone to see that. And then whatever else you got going on, man, I want to stay in touch and keep doing this because I love seeing all the success you're having and everything you're doing. And now that you're getting into writing and directing, I can't wait to see what else you do in the future. So congrats on all the success, man. It's amazing to see. I know you know this. I don't want to bring it into like a down note, but you know this like so many times when guys leave fighting, you kind of worry like, man, what's going to happen? What are they going to do? What's going to happen? And you've been one of the great success stories. So I love to see that. Love to see all the success you've had. And man, keep it up. And I can't wait to see what you do next.
Thanks, brother. Thank you so much, man. It means a lot to me.
Absolutely, Keith. We'll stay in touch and we'll definitely do this again.
Watch Kimmy again, man, and let me know what you think about it. Guys, hit me up on the Instagram, whatever. Like, I love talking about it, man, and nothing gets me more excited about talking about my movies or any movies. So please, once you watch it, please hit me up.